2022, these four university students were discovered stabbed in their home in Moscow, Idaho. Local police described the case as very complex, and it took more than 6 weeks for a suspect to be arrested. We pieced together information from a case affidavit released by authorities, verified publicly available evidence, and pulled in ABC News reporting to create a visual timeline outlining significant events in this case. It's around 9 p.m. local time on Saturday, November 12th in Moscow, Idaho. According to an affidavit released by authorities, Zana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin are seen hanging out at the Sigma Chi house. It's about a 5-minute walk from their off-campus house on King Road. Zana's roommates Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan are at the Corner Club. It's a historic sports bar in town. They stay at the bar for about 3 hours, according to an affidavit released by authorities. And around 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie leave the corner bar. The next available images we have of them are in this surveillance footage obtained by ABC News. They're at a local food truck, which is about a 6-minute walk from the bar. Police say this man with them is not a suspect.
Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho quadruples that took place on the 13th of November 2022. May the 4 victims rest in peace, condolence to the families, and may the correct justice be served. Today I'd like to talk about the last night of Kaylee and Maddie's life. Kaylee and Maddie were at the Corner Club. They were sitting and talking to Jack D. Jack D sitting on the bar stool, and Kaylee and Maddie are standing near him. I would actually like to talk not only about Adam, Lauda, Jack D, and hoodie guy, Jack Showalter. I'd like to talk about all 3 of them. The reason is that they were one of the last 3 people that saw Maddie and Kaylee alive, besides the people at the grub truck, and besides Eddie, the driver who drove the girls home. The private share driver, Uber driver, I guess. What I find interesting is we clearly heard Jack Showalter, aka Hoodie Guy, say, you know they're going to get you girls, or they're going to get you Maddie. Now this is when Maddie and Kaylee are walking with Hoodie Guy to the grub truck from the corner club. What I find really interesting is that you can clearly see that Jack Showalter isn't walking close to the girls. For me personally, this is my opinion, it seems like the girls are not even paying attention to Jack Showalter. They're pretending like he's not there. And as soon as Jack Showalter, Hoodie Guy, says, you know they're going to get you for that Maddie, or they're going to get you girls, it is interesting that Kaylee says right after that, in a very tense voice, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And Maddie said, I told Adam like everything. Now what did Maddie tell Adam is a piece of the puzzle. Because when you hear the tension from Kaylee's voice, you can clearly make out that something was told to Adam that made Jack Showalter say to Maddie that you know they're going to get you girls. You know they're going to get you for that Maddie. That's what he said. You know they're going to get you for that Maddie. What did Maddie tell Adam is the question. And I wonder if Adam found out some secrets from Maddie that could eventually have messed up whatever he could allegedly be involved with. Whether it was drugs, whether it was money laundering, example, whether it was about revenge, whether it was secrets that wasn't supposed to be told, Maddie told Adam something that got them unalived. That's what I believe. But I've always said from the beginning of this case that I personally believe that this case its timelines are different. Not only that the timelines changed from 3 to 4, it changed to 4 to 425, but it's mostly because I still believe, and I've said that from the beginning of this case on my channel, that I believe it was separate targets and separate incidents. The more I research this case and the more I follow this case, it seems to me that the couple, Xana and Ethan, was deleted first. I believe something happened to Xana and E between 2 to 2:45. We clearly heard Ethan and the triplets' mother, Stacy Chapin, saying that too. She said 2 a.m. is the darkest time for a family, or the hardest time for a family. Wonder what happened at 2 a.m. I'm sure Stacy Chapin would definitely know more than we know, because let's not forget, he was one of the triplets. He was the oldest of his triplets. So his sister and his brother Maisie and Hunter were called before the police. Hunter Chapin was in the house with the rest of the people before the police. He goes to the same frat as his brother E, so he would have known what took place that night. He must have told his parents 2 a.m. is when it went down. What is interesting, at 2 a.m. is when we see the crowd at the grub truck yelling, Xana, Xana. Now that is a red flag. What were they watching on their phone devices for them to be yelling out Xana's name is quite interesting. And the fact that they were yelling out Ethan's name too is quite interesting. It looked like they were watching something from their phone, and what is strange is when I went back to that grub truck, it took me time to research it, and when I checked, 2 a.m. was when the crowd was yelling Zana, Zana. Quite strange. So that's why I believe E and Zana were deleted before Kaylee and Maddie got home. Now, if you saw the beginning of this clip where I showed the ABC News' timeline, they said that it was the Moscow police that told them to make a timeline for this case. What is interesting is they confirm and they said that they got from their sources or from a friend in, like one of the friends of Maddie and Kaylee and all, they got the information that Xana and E were actually seen at the Sigma party. If they were seen in the Sigma party, I wonder what really happened down there. I'm sure a fight or something broke up there with Eaton and Xana and the Sigma Chi frat boys, like the Davids, allegedly. And that beef must have got out of hand. Somebody must have retaliated that night on Xana and E. Strangely enough, nobody saw Xana and Eaton that night. But there wasn't pictures taken of them, and it's not normal for college students, especially the couple who seemed to be taking a lot of pictures. There was no pictures of them that night. I wonder if all the pictures taken of Xana and E was actually deleted. We would never know. Because if somebody was working behind it and they were trying to divert the blame in another direction, like example, maybe, just for example, BK, then they would obviously delete everything of the party. Isn't it strange that we haven't seen much pictures of the party itself at the Sigma Chi fraternity? So I believe, per se, that the boys at the Banfield stop did come from 1122 Kings Road. They came from that direction. That's just my belief. Looking at everything that's happening that night, from looking at everything that was happening that night, it seemed to me that the Banfield boys wasn't just walking at Banfield coincidentally. I really believe there was much more to that, because those boys did not look like they were intoxicated. For me, they looked more like they were very anxious and they were scared of being caught for something else. You could see one with his arms in his pocket. You can see the other one with his arms closed towards his chest. They keep on watching pictures from the phone device while the police, the undercover cop, is in the car writing out the fines. You see Saeed there, and he doesn't seem to be scared or worried of the cops at all. I exposed to you all from the beginning what Saeed was watching on his phone. Many people agree and many have decided not to agree. Now these pictures that I took of Saeed watching something that looked like the crime scene, has it been investigated properly, I believe. And I hope that Ann Taylor is watching social media. I know she doesn't have time for that, because she would have seen kind of what I exposed from the grub truck and from the Banfield. You can see somebody wearing a mask clearly. Pay attention to the below picture. Somebody is wearing a white mask, and then you have the above picture where it looks like Kaylee, she rests in peace, sitting in a bed. The reason I say Kaylee is because her mother and father explained the position she was found in. The blonde hair is up to the neck or to the shoulders. That's the reason I believe it was Kaylee again. The reason I believe it's Kaylee is because Maddie is really thin. This looks more like Kaylee to me. May she rest in peace. I don't want to trigger up anyone, trigger warning, or Kaylee's family either. But I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this. If you pay attention to the picture downstairs, I'm sorry to say, but the eyes looks like beekeeper. It could be anyone. And this is what Saeed was watching at the bandfield. Saeed's hands look like they're injured, unless the camera is bad. This is all my speculations and my opinion, guys. Now, if you look at Saeed's phone device closer, it looks like there's 3 people standing or sitting on the floor. And these pictures I've showed you all from the very beginning. So I personally believe that Saeed is watching something that the police should have been investigating. What is strange is I don't understand why they release the Banfield body cam and the Grub Truck body cam, because I personally believe they have a lot of information. Pay attention to these 2 watching their phones. I wonder if the quadruples unalivings was on some dark web, or if they were sharing it on Snapchat or something. Because Saeed has been watching some pictures, so are these 2 boys. It doesn't seem like they're intoxicated, or it doesn't seem like that they care about the law. The undercover police is in his car, and there's one outside, I believe, and yet again, they seem to be too comfortable to be watching these pictures. Pay attention to the one on the right. He has a pair of Vans shoes on him. The one in the middle looks like he has one single glove, but I'm not sure about that. These 3 boys, I personally believe, came from 1122 Kings Road. At 3:12, you see the 4 figures running, and they look like they're running from Kings Road, Queens Road direction to the fraternity, to Sigma Chi. There was 3 unidentified male DNAs found in the house. Was it these 3 young men, or was it the 4 figures running, is the question. Jack D had this picture on his TikTok, and he removed it right after the unalivings when people started asking questions. Pay attention to his left knee and pay attention to his fingers. They looked very injured to me. Look at the nails and look at the knee. Looks like he has an injury on his lips too. So why did he remove these pictures from his TikTok? And why does he look so rough and injured in this picture? This is how it looks when I zoom it in. Look at his kneecap on the left-hand side. And look at his fingers. These are not pictures I just edited or made up. These are actually Jack D. His picture from his TikTok account. I managed to get them in the very beginning, and I took pictures of it so I could save it. And it's been in my channel from the beginning, but pay attention to this. You have Jack D on the roof, and look at the white Hyundai Elantra parked downstairs. And he had a white pickup car too. We have Saeed here with bushy eyebrows. Let's be honest. Wonder if DM allegedly saw him. I believe he passed by Banfield and the police stopped him because he came to distract the police from the 3 young boys. I believe he knew what was happening and he was part of it. Allegedly. Going back to the picture Saeed was watching on his device, this was one of them. What is strange for me is, although you see the person in red from behind, I wonder if it could have been Quinn Kelly, DM's boyfriend, because he doesn't seem to be very tall, allegedly, and the hairstyle and the cap. But he said he wasn't in Idaho, Moscow, although many students said that he was seen that night and he and DM took pictures on VSOP and they deleted it. Anything's possible. We have the 2 Davids and allegedly they had a fight with Ethan and Xana. Allegedly, the person who wrote the 4chan anonymous person said that Lott is on steroids, drugs. These people, the 2 Davids, allegedly fantasized about unalivings, according to the 4chan. When you look about how the 4chan said that they planned the unalivings, it makes a lot of sense with what could have actually happened. The Royds raged in Lauda, and his little sidekick carried out the long-standing fantasies. That would be David B. The 4chan article is not confirmed. Many people say it's untrue, but I believe the frats are involved, and I believe that that is what happened, possibly, to the couple. But I believe Xana and he got unalived or hurt somewhere in Sigma Chi fraternity, or on their way home, or maybe when they came in the house. Something happened to the couple after the Sigma Chi fraternity party, or while the party was going on, allegedly.
Xano.
So we can hear the crowd yelling, Zana, Zana, Ethan. What were they watching? And this was at 2 a.m. Could they have been watching Zana and E being unalived? Pay attention to the fact that David Lodge and his friends were at the grub truck and they already left a couple of minutes before Kaylee and Maddie. If we go according to the 4chan, allegedly. What is Joe Vito watching? This is when the crowd is yelling Zana and E's name. What are these people all watching? Look at the female with the blonde hair and look at Jovito. What is Jovito watching? It's quite interesting. And this is when the crowd is yelling Zana, Zana. And E, are they watching the unalivings of the couple, allegedly? Because there's a lot going on. Look at this Latino female. What is she watching? She's watching at the same time as Jovito is watching his things. And then you have the crowd yelling Zana's name. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot going on at the band